Go.
We going? All right. This is
Epically awesome professional start, ladies and gentlemen.
that's
Fail
right.
for Friday.
Wow. This is a massive Friday fail. All right. Quiet on the set, Greg.
All right, go. Jesus.
Yeah. What is up, everybody? It's Matt Johnson. We're back with another episode of Real Estate Uncensored. We're getting the day kicked off right. It's a Friday fail day, and so we're getting it kicked off right with a massive fail to start off this live broadcast. We're very sorry about that. If you're listening to the replay, don't worry about it. It doesn't matter. This is the place where you get insight, inspiration, and actual insight and ideas and inspiration, all those things, tactics, ideas, concepts, principles, strategies, systems to turn your real estate career into a life of freedom. I am joined, as always, by the junior grandmaster himself, Greg McDaniel. What is up today?
What's up, Pimpalicious? Oh my goodness gracious, man, that was awesome. Sorry, that was an epic start. That was one of my favorite starts. I gotta tell you, because
what happened? What happened to the 3, 2, 1 countdown? Is that only on my? It just disappeared.
No, it was playing right in front of you. I'm like, dude, Matt, dude, pay attention. Hey, I even knocked. I'm like, hey, like a silent, like, hey, pay attention. I'm not gonna say anything. No. You're not listening.
No, there's no countdown on my side, which is never done that before.
Oh, well,
then there was no 3, 2, 1. So I thought you were I couldn't tell if you'd pressed the button to start Facebook Live or not yet. But we're going to take some questions. We've got a lot of stuff to talk about. I have a tech tip, but we got all kinds of stuff to cover.
Hold up. I didn't get my rant in. How dare you?
It's fine. I wasn't stepping on it. Just letting people know what they're in for today. We have no guest. So as you can see, we're keeping it fast and loose, and we're going to play it very far away from the vest today.
Yeah, no shit. Oklahoma City's in the house. Andrew, Lynn, Sandy, Isa, there's a bunch of you guys are in here. So guys, come on in, share this out onto your newsfeed, guys. If this is something that's going to be helpful, we got some awesome tech stuff. So I was just listening to Social Media Examiners. Michael, thank you for the kind comment, dude. Guys, there are some really big things coming down the pipe. I will put the link to their show into these show notes for us on Facebook. Guys, Facebook is testing this in Ireland right now, and it is super cool, and I am pumped for it. And Matt and I have an evil strategy to take over the globe in real estate training by using this strategy, which we will not. Like Pinky in the Brain. What are we going to do today?
I got to get a white cat I can pet and turn around slowly in a chair with a high back.
We're just going to shave your head and you be bald and shit.
Exactly.
So what they're doing, here's the cool part, guys. They're testing this in Ireland right now. And what they're doing is they're changing the look. They're testing the look of Facebook to look more like Instagram. You know how when you have Instagram, you have those circular pictures of your favorites and the people you communicate with. They're taking Instagram stories and they're bringing them over to Facebook. Now, it's not going to be called Instagram stories. It's not going to be called anything like that, but it's going to look exactly the same. 15-second clip videos or photos that will be dissolved in 24 hours. Now, if this goes well in Ireland, guys, this is going to be a massive, massive game changer for the way that Facebook runs. Because, and they're going to probably, since you can take Instagram and push it to Facebook already, if you do an Instagram story, right, then you push it to Facebook, you're going to get double exposure. And they are going to take you and propel you through the fucking roof on viewership, because Snapchat is the biggest rival to Facebook and Instagram. And Snapchat jumped and was able to meet Facebook's viewership in 6 months. So Facebook is like, oh shit, we got to make this stuff move and change, right? Not only are they going to do this, I don't know, you guys can watch the link. I only got halfway through it and I got so excited I'm bouncing out of my chair. Facebook Messenger, guys, they're transferring the same look even over to Facebook Messenger. It's epic. I mean, by the way, and you have the exact same filters on the Facebook version of Snapchat of Instagram that you have on Instagram. It is a simultaneous across the board move, and it is fascinating. And they're on Facebook Messenger, they're playing with ads, okay, in the message, in the actual message, and they're testing that in New Zealand and Australia, I want to say. So if it goes well down there, we're going to see this stuff come up to us up here. So it's super, super cool. If you guys are good on Instagram, keep building, keep growing, keep pushing this stuff. Now, nothing's going to go away with Facebook Live. It's not going to like replace Facebook Live. But if you can come up with a way, and if you already got your Instagram story like down pat and kind of what you're doing, this is just going to be a big, huge, epic push from the bottom to the top. So if you're doing Facebook Lives like Matt and I are doing right now, and if you guys do these Insta stories, which are going to be called, Facebook stories or whatever they're going to call them, guys, this is 100% free exposure on a massive level if you guys adopt it soon. So keep your eyes open. I'm going to put this link in for the show right now, Matt, as you lead us down the path to awesomeness with questions.
Lead us down the path to awesomeness. Oh, okay. Yeah,
what up, Texas?
Let's take a couple real quick, and thank you guys, everybody that's watching us live. If you're watching the replay here, make sure to subscribe on YouTube, iTunes, and Stitcher, depending on whether you want the video or audio versions. Let's take a question. This is Michael. Yes, Greg?
And follow me on Facebook, guys. Remember to follow me on Facebook. Facebook won't let me have any more friends, those pricks. Cap out at 5. It should be 15,000, Matt. It should be 15,000. I mean, everybody has 15,000 friends, right?
Yeah. Sure. All right. Michael Uloa asks, what is your favorite marketing-based lead generation? Which is an interesting question. I've never heard the way that question is phrased, but I know what he's getting at. Marketing-based lead generation. In other words, not cold, not you picking up the phone, not directly tied to your personal time and effort. What's something that's out there, Greg, that's working for you, that's running without your direct involvement to bring in leads?
Gene. Oh, actually, well, Gene Vampy. How do I say his last name?
Volpe.
Are
you guys working together on something?
Yeah, dude, I hired him.
Oh, seriously?
He's gonna come and tear apart all of our stuff that we do here, all of my live shows, all the stuff that I have videos out that Vyral did. He's gonna shred it and put it out in little bite-sized content for me. It's awesome, dude. The guy, he's an evil freaking genius, man. An evil freaking genius. I mean, the shit that he showed me in like 5 minutes, I was just like, oh. Well,
really?
Isn't that pretty?
Right, I need to get a call with him and talk about how we need to do step up our game on the show here.
Yeah, dude. Where are you? You've been slacking, homeboy.
Yeah, sorry, trying to run another business here. That's fine.
God. Here, I'm going to put Gene's stuff in here for you
Gene's
guys.
working. I know talent prospecting's working. You talk about that all the time.
Awesome, dude.
One of the comments on here was targeted Facebook ads to segmented landing pages. That is absolutely true. That is working for people around the country. I will say a little aside to that. So Jeff Cohn and the whole Omaha's Elite team, which is Nebraska's #1 team, Jeff has been on the show before, and he's my business partner on that side. They have tested a lot in terms of like Google pay-per-click ads versus Facebook ads, and at least in their market, which is pretty typical of most average markets around the country, it's not that Facebook ads are bad, it's that they just take longer to convert because you're catching them not when they're actively searching, but just when they're receptive to a message. That's different than them going out and actively searching, hey, I want to look for, Stony Bridge homes for sale, and running a pay-per-click ad to that person that's searching for that right then. So that being the case, just keep that in mind, guys. There's a lot of we're going to have I'm getting introduced to a Facebook ads expert here over the next day or so. I just got off the phone with the gal this morning that met this guy. He's going to come on the show. We're going to dig deep into Facebook ads, but just be aware of that. There's a fundamental difference between catching somebody on Facebook when they're doing something else and putting a message in front of them that catches their eye versus when they go out and actively search for something on Google and they look for homes for sale in their area. So that's my little aside. So
interesting.
Let's take another one real quick. So I think this is Lanessa Stubbs says, how do you respond to calls when you're calling an expired listing and they say the house is no longer available for sale? She just normally says thank you and hangs up, but any feedback would be great. I know, Greg, you don't do a ton of expires, but I'm sure you run into this. You've done FSBOs, and the same thing applies. You call up a FSBO, or you think it's a FSBO, and they're like, no, the home we've decided to take them home off the market. It's no longer for sale. So what do you dig deeper on that? And if so, how do you dig deeper?
Yeah, I mean, what I do is I just ask questions. And remember, I always come from a state of curiosity. Ooh, hitting the mic is not a curious thing.
I was going to say, you come from a state of violence, as evidenced by you beating up your microphone.
You big brute. No, so what I do when I'm not abusing small microphones, I say, Matt, Julie, okay, so you guys took your home off the market out of pure, and I use this this phrase, out of pure curiosity. What prompted you to take it off? Was there a life shift? Did you guys just get tired of the market? Did you guys not like your agent? What happened? And then we banter back and forth, and I said, okay, well, if you were able to get your price. If I was able to bring a buyer, not on the market, bring a buyer to you, would you be still willing to sell your home? And yes, no, whatever it is, dude, I'm keeping those folks in a pipeline, and then touch base every 3-6 months. Just, hey, how's life? Knock on a front door. Oh my God, you live here? That's so strange. I was just door knocking in the neighborhood.
I happen to be door knocking in this exact neighborhood, not by intention.
No, I didn't know. That's so weird. Actually, Midori and I, Midori, say hi. This is Midori. Yeah, she is our new team member, and she is. We went door knocking, and because my lender Casey gave me a lead told me what street they're on. They aren't ready to talk to us yet, so we decided to randomly go door knocking, and we randomly door knocked about 10, 15 homes up on this really nice area in Alamo. And I always say, don't go in a home. I'm side subject here really quickly. Don't go in a home. But, Midori and I, there's these two couples that were up in Round Hill North, and they're like, you guys want to see some cool views? Come on in. Brought us into their house, and it was awesome, man. I ended up knowing one of the guy's daughters. I went to junior high with her. I'm like, wait a minute, is your daughter Sam? She's like, they're like, yeah. I'm like, I went to junior high and high school with her. Oh my God.
Nice. Yeah, that makes a huge difference.
Yeah, it really does. But I mean, we totally digressed.
Yeah, that was a digression. All right, so Frank Klesitz, the man himself, is on the podcast, which is funny because he says, hi, Matt, and that's the first time I think he's ever called me by my first name, ever.
Hi, Matt. So formal.
Yeah, it's very, very odd. Anyway.
What, I don't get any love, Frank? Thanks, pal. Your Christmas card is not coming next year.
That's right. All right, but we do have a couple of good questions. So number one, so Walter Collins says, I know Matt talked about it a little bit a few days ago, but what do you do, Greg, for pre-qual scripts, either over the phone or at the appointment? So when you're, and I'm assuming, Walter, let's start with, we'll just go quickly on the listing side. So Greg, when you're kind of debating on whether you want to go and you want to preview a house and kind of do that first step in the listing consultation phase, what kinds of questions are you asking before you go out to make sure it's worth your time?
Everything is worth my time, to be honest with you, because the way that I operate, I'm doing short-term immediate gains, and I'm also doing long-term long tail plays. We've closed houses after we met with these people after 25 years. I mean, a lot of people don't have that patience, but I want to go out there and I want to understand what their want, need, and desire is, what their timeline is, what's the reason for them making a life change. What are the most important aspects and qualities, both of the agent and as a whole transaction. So I just try to get to know them on a more of a human level. Like Midori and I went out and talked to this older couple in Walnut Creek a couple of days ago, and great conversation. Now, they had told me to come on out because they were thinking about selling. Well, we get to the living room and they're like, well, we're not going to sell for a year. I'm like, okay. I immediately went into bringing value mode. Like, what can I do to help you? How can I be of assistance? What services can I help you with? And I just started building my value add prep on the front. And then I did the takeaway method with them. I said, well, let's talk about this. Is it the best move for you to move? The husband likes to go out and garden. The wife is afraid for her health. So I went to the man. I said, John, what are you sure this is the right move? Because where are you going to be able to spend your time gardening? I don't know if this is the right move for you guys to sell. And I can get a contractor in to help, old person proof this house. Ramps, soft cushions on walls in case they just clunk, knock their heads and shit.
Built-in LP record player.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, I basically try to tell them, I don't want your listing. You shouldn't move.
Okay.
And he immediately shot back, kind of dejected, like, no, we're going to be selling. We need to sell because we'd be happier. I'm like, gotcha, bitch. But I didn't come across as a pushy salesperson, like, oh, sell. You're old. You're going to die. You're going to hurt yourself. You're going to, trip and fall and can't get up. None of that. So
yeah, the takeaway works when it's authentic.
Yeah, no, I was honestly telling them,
unless you're really good at faking authenticity, that's a whole other thing. But if it's genuinely authentic,
that's what our friendship's built on, Matt.
That's right. We're really good at faking authenticity.
Yeah,
that's right.
I'm really good at just faking.
The entire show is based on we fake our on stage chemistry.
Anybody that knows us knows that's complete bullshit.
That's right. All right, Donna Paul has a good question, which I wanted to cover in honor of Frank being in the audience today. So Donna Paul says, database, what's the best way to make it work effectively? So I will jump in here real quick, and then Greg, you can kind of share the tactical execution of this, of how you do this with Vyral. But like the program that Vyral helps you execute is the best way to maximize your database, because not only are you sending out videos that are actually genuinely helpful to people and you send them out to your database, but then you keep track of who opens the email, who clicks to watch the video. That shows you who is most interested in your database that's actually thinking about real estate, who might be thinking about making a move, and who's clicking to watch your video because it's maybe answering a question that they have in their mind right now. And then you get that report back when the video email goes out of who opened it and who clicked the video, and then you follow up with those people. So I was talking to Pasquale, who we just had on the show. His episode just came out on iTunes. And so he's doing the Vyral program with his recruiting clients, right? So he has a database of recruiters that's in his kind of network from all the years he's been doing coaching. He's never actively communicating with them on a regular basis. He's got two of the best, warmest leads he's ever received in his entire coaching career just in the past few weeks because of the videos that he sent out. So when he's making the calls to people and reconnecting with his database, they're going, hey, I just got your video. That was a great video. Awesome. Love it. I'm so happy you reached out. Like, I've been meaning to get in contact with you. And that's what happens. Like, you have to actually still pick up the phone and call. That's the best way to get results. But when you call, they're happy to hear from you because you haven't been just incommunicado this whole time or bothering them with spammy, horrible crap.
Yeah,
so
I get compliments and comments all the time. Like, oh man, I've been watching your videos all the time. I'm like, how the fuck do you know this? I barely know you, but I have your email. Okay. I found out the other day that my owner, my manager, and a bunch of other people, all watch my stuff. Shit, guy, one of my attorneys, I'm not gonna get into that story. One of my attorneys for the corporate, I can't. One of my attorneys that watched.
Yeah, no good story ever started with, so one of my attorneys.
Yeah, no. But he even watches my stuff. I'm like, golly, that's amazing what they did. And this is out to, dude, my coach Reed over at Vyral is an absolute pimp, dude. The guy is such a solid resource for information. Is such a hard worker. Matt, I haven't even told you this yet. I kind of put myself. I bought a lot of Amazon yesterday, and I'm like click. Ah, shit! I spent like $500, but I bought a nano, a 360 nano camera. Okay. So I'm gonna have my 360 camera that I'm gonna be now shooting for Vyral videos coming out very, very soon. So Frank, keep your eyes open, man. This is gonna be first of a kind coming out, you guys. But I think about it. That's how to stand out. Think about how to get ahead of stuff and just be a little bit different. But yeah, Vyral videos, man. People might follow this train. I've told this train before. It's such a long train. It just makes me laugh. My sisters, husbands, brothers, wife. Does your brain hurt yet? She even watches my videos, and she's a professor, dude. It's unbelievable to reach. My manager up at Blackhawk, he always calls me. He goes, "Hey, professor," because he gets all. If you knew Vance, you'd be like, "Oh, totally Vance." But I mean, people. That's the type of the touch. I mean, I had a client that I didn't work with I haven't seen for 14 years. Hit me up last year and be like, hey, man, I watch all your videos that you're emailing out and yourself on Facebook. Totally want you to come down and list my $1.5 million home and help me buy a $2 million home. I'm like, I'm on the way.
You have like a fireman's pole that just leads from underneath your desk, like straight just dumps you in your Mercedes.
And it buckles me in, and with seats are warmer out the door.
Like reminds me of the old what was that? Was it the old Batman show from the '60s that they would just like randomly slide down a pole and then they'd be in the car or something like that?
And like whop.
Very humble, but that's all right. Anyway, all right. So there's a great question here. I know. Well, we won't go down that path. But Austin Walters wants to know, what are you two focusing on yourselves as the new features that you talked about earlier, Greg, as these new features come into play, like platforms and et cetera for new business? So there's a lot of speculation. There's a lot of cool things that are happening, but what are we actually going to do about it? That is a great question.
Talk extensively and take no action. Just like every other real estate agent.
That's right. We're gonna endlessly debate about possibly maybe doing something someday. That's right.
Maybe. I love it. Maybe. Well, we'll see. We don't know.
All right, but let's say, all right, so you're not playing around too much with Instagram stories, although we both have done Instagram lives before, and we've used them in we have used them as a feeder into Facebook Live, right? So we have used them to tease upcoming Facebook Lives and tell people where to go. So if Instagram stories migrate onto Facebook,
yeah.
right, then you have Facebook Lives, which are recorded and accessible, which means people can go back and they can see it and they can access your content later. What is the value of doing something like a Facebook's version of Instagram stories where it disappears versus a Facebook Live?
It's instant engagement. That's what they're trying to do. They want instant engagement, instant views. They want that because every time it refreshes, every 24 hours, that's new content. That's fresh, relevant, new content that the spiders are crawling over the internet.
Yeah, I was going to say. So in other words, you believe that Facebook will then start promoting the instant stories over their own Facebook Lives that are pre-recorded.
Mm-hmm. Exactly, because it's bigger, it's more viewership, instant viewership, right? And if you can put all the filters and the fun things in there, because I mean, if you guys like Instagram, you're gonna fucking love this stuff because it's just it's the same exact crack, just on a different street corner. Okay, so just what?
It's a very visceral way of describing that. All right.
Yes, it is crack.
Different crack, but on a different. It's the same crack, but a different street corner.
Different street corner. You know, you can get your crack in 3 different places. You know, Instagram, Facebook Messenger. They're training us to operate a certain system time and time again, because if you can operate one system over 3 platforms versus then you have to go learn Snapchat. Now the older crowd's not going to migrate predominantly down to Snapchat. I have a hard time doing Snapchat. Like Midori and I were door knocking. We were walking up like, oh, it's a cool view. What do? I take an Instagram video. I'm like, Midori, did you get your Instagram video? She's like, no, dude, I snapped that. I'm like, oh. I'm like, oh, I gotta snap it when I get back. Damn it! So I went back on snap.
Okay.
But I mean, that's the difference. I think as the generations get older, as we get older, right? Okay. We're gonna migrate in because a lot of the times Instagram, Snapchat, from what I understand, it's not universal. It's a younger crowd, of course. That younger crowd, just the way life is, they're going to get older. And when they get older, they're going to go into business, right? Right now, the platform for business is for products and services and everything else are Instagram stories and or Facebook. That's where the eyeballs of the consumers live majority of the time. So if they can take you and move you from an Instagram lover, right? Okay. And then you're forced kicking and screaming into Snapchat, into Instagram, and that would then translate into Facebook and Facebook Messenger. Now they're going to control 3 out of the 4 potential major platforms. I think Twitter, I don't know where Twitter's going to go, but it's definitely dropping in the ranks. You know?
Yeah, it's not doing well. It's yeah, it's like my dog growing up when he was on his last legs, old, grumpy, and crotchety, and unstable on his feet.
I thought you were talking about LinkedIn when you said that.
No. LinkedIn is great. I mean, it's their mobile platform sucks monkey balls, to put it delicately. But in terms of functionality and desktop, like just being on your desktop and doing, when you're on a place, when you're on something where you can actually do work, LinkedIn is very effective. But anyway, so I'll pitch in my 2 cents on how I'm going to potentially use these tools. So for anybody that's out there that is not, so Greg, you're very stream of consciousness. You're able to hop on and really just very quickly share either little snippets of what you're doing in your life or things that you're doing for clients, or you can very quickly go out, find something that you like, an article, and reconstitute it out. And all those things are great. So what I want to do for my business is I want to talk more about what I'm doing for ongoing clients and partners, the actual nuts and bolts marketing that we're doing on the back end here of all the stuff, all the fun stuff. For me, in order to do that, and I'm sure there's a lot of people listening to this that are like me, that requires a little bit of thought. Right. So for me, everything is going to start with the blog article that I write. Now, it may not be long. They may not be super in depth. But for me, writing it out first helps me get clarity on what I want to say, why I want to say it. And so I've really been studying a lot. So one of my missions for the first 3 months of this year, for this first quarter, was to take Joe Rico's sales course, which we'll talk a little bit about some of the takeaways from that. It's been insane. It's going to be good.
I'm taking that next.
Yeah, exactly. But anyway, but the reason that I took that was I really wanted to dig into the psychology of selling and get better at understanding other people and where they're coming from and why they buy or why they don't buy, which is why I also took Perry Belcher's Secret Selling System, which is in the back end of Digital Marketer Lab. Anyway, all that goes to say this. I feel like better at the writing and the writing is coming faster, and I'm understanding what needs to be written. So everything that I do will start with that, but then I'm going to take that. So in other words, I write the blog article, and then I take my own blog article and reconstitute it out in different forms. One of them being whatever's the most popular at that time, which would be right now is Facebook Live. I need to do more stuff on Instagram and either tease my Facebook Lives, which would be longer, or if Instagram all of a sudden flips over and more of my audience is there, then I'll do them as Instagram stories instead. So it just kind of depends on like where the majority of the audience is. I mean, for us both, Greg, the majority of our audience is on Facebook. So the more that we can use that and just kind of keep our eye on other things and experiment with things like Instagram and Snapchat just to keep up, just in case Facebook hires, I don't know, Twitter's CEO as its CEO, and they just,
God, no.
You know what I'm saying? They just plunge off the face of the earth and Facebook dies. That we're
Which
ready.
I do not see happening.
I do not see that happening. I don't see Jack Dorsey taking over Facebook anytime soon.
No, not in the slightest. But you know what? That's one of the things that I need to have. I'm going to talk to Youngblood behind me here and have her help me show me on Snapchat or Instagram how I can make my Instagrams, you know, be viewed longer, and on Instagram how to make my stories be viewed longer. I can't fucking figure this thing out, dude. I really can't. It's like a monkey on a computer, just. I mean, if it's on.
How can you want to know how you can make them be viewed longer?
Yeah, my stories on Instagram.
Getting more engagement, holding people for longer?
No, longer viewer time. Like it's different counts or different seconds you can set it to. You know.
Oh, interesting. So, okay. Did not know
so I'm trying to figure all that kind of stuff out. But I mean, when it comes to social media, you know, Francisco's like, so you're basically telling me I have to be a social media whore. I'm like, yes, you do. He's like, I hope I need to get a bigger battery. I'm like, yes, you do.
Well. And watch our podcast to figure out what's actually most effective and what's working.
Yes.
So you don't have to like let Greg be the guinea pig. That's all I'm saying.
Yes, and I have no problem with that, dude. I mean, with the 360 thing. Oh, I love it. Are you shitting me? I'm so excited. I'm like a schoolgirl. I'm just giddy. You know, I'm just ready to go. So when I get my 360 camera, dude. We're putting together what Reed and I came up with is I'm going to go to all like the iconic points around the Bay Area. It's going to take a lot of manpower and drive time and everything else to get it done. But I'm going to go all the iconic spots, and we're going to do a compilation clips of all the areas. And then when people can pause my video, then they can still see a 360 view of those different locations. Like,
goodness,
I know it's going to be fucking awesome. It's going to be so cool, and because nobody's doing this kind of stuff, right? I mean, that's the kind of stuff that I'm always trying to be a guinea pig and do that kind of just something different, man.
Man, you realize that everything is going to be like mapped in 3D very soon between drones being super cheap, people being bored and having no money, and the existence of 3D cameras. Like you're literally going to be able to like pick out an address and just there'll be drone footage of it from like 4 days ago in 360 degrees.
How awesome is that?
And like then Google Maps on steroids.
And then when Amazon starts actually delivering packages to you, they'll be, you know, filming that shit in 3D. Dude, this is all going to be stitched together.
That's true, actually. Yeah, you're exactly right. They will. Yeah, and then all the weather sensors that are built into the lights and stuff like that on those droids. I mean, it's going to be insane. We're living in a very interesting time.
So Matt, question for you. Two things. Daniel's asking about Lion's Desk. I don't know anything about Lion's Desk. Do you?
Yeah, it's Lion Desk, and I don't know too much about it either. I believe, if I remember right, that Josh Smith mentioned using it. That is one of his back-end systems, so he'd be a good one to ask about that. I don't know of anybody offhand other than Josh Smith, I think, that has specifically mentioned using it. I know it is out there and popular, but I haven't heard a lot of people reference it, so I don't know too much about it. Andrew Shear says VR world tours, yeah, 100%. And if you think people are go down the rabbit hole with video games, you just wait till virtual reality and all that stuff catches up. Like it's going to be like that movie with Bruce Willis where we just sit around with plugs in our brain and get fat.
Yeah, I was just going to talk about it. There was that cartoon, Disney cartoon or Pixar cartoon where you literally just lived in your avatar world and you just laid on the bed. You're all ooey gooey and jiggly like right now for taking a month off from the gym. Now I can do my own version of the truffle shuffle. If anybody knows what that looks like.
And you're not talking about the exercise with the battle ropes, are you?
No.
Okay.
No. But that will stop soon, and I will never become that fat person on that table. This shit sucks, man. But it really is going to be interesting about the VR world and where it's going to go. And I think that, Matt, you're talking about video games taking over. I've seen a lot of prototypes of gaming systems that are stand-up systems. And this is something I would actually buy and spend thousands of dollars on, you know, because some of the war games, the fighting games, shoot 'em up games, Call of Duty.
First person shooters. Yeah.
Yeah. So Call of Duty, let's say, dude, I'm the guy running around with my gun pointed straight at the ground doing circles. But if I could,
Dude, I don't even try.
Oh, I don't either. But they have they're starting to have like these treadmill things that you can run in any direction, and they have a ring around it so you don't fall and kill yourself, and you can run around and you can play the game and get exercise.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's going to be coming down the pipe. I think a lot of really cool things of VR are going to come down the pipe. And I'm wondering what's going to take place, Matt, about travel. If you can get in a VR environment and go see the Eiffel Tower as if you were really there, is it going to impact the travel industry?
Interesting question.
I know, that's why I pose it.
I mean, yes and no, but I mean, here's the weird thing about human beings. We have this little thing called a subconscious mind.
Yeah.
And we know, like, the subconscious mind knows
when it's real, not real. Yeah.
When it's real and not real. Now virtual reality, like there's some elements where you can trick your subconscious mind, and I get that. Like consciously, it's not real, but subconsciously you feel like it, and it triggers some of the same physical reactions. Like if you're in a 3D VR or whatever, and you go over a cliff, like you get that sense of like as if you're really there, but you still know you're not there, right?
Yeah.
So if anything, it'd be one of those interesting things where it might just give us the travel bug. And then you actually want to get out there and see it in person. And if things keep moving on to where human labor gets more and more productive and travel keeps dropping in cost, then I can see it actually helping. It just depends on how things shake out.
That's interesting. That's a really interesting. You have a good point. And Daniel asks, what about holograms? Holograms. I've been wondering the same thing. When are TVs going to be replaced by just a hologram projector, and your actors are going to be in your room, right? Like it's the scene right there, with the whole thing behind it. I don't know, man. It'd be interesting to see. I think VR is definitely going to be our first stop. AV, sorry. But the world is changing, man, and it's changing quick.
Yeah,
that's the cool. I mean, think about it. A year ago,
it's a new age.
We couldn't do anything. A year ago, we couldn't do Facebook Lives. We couldn't do Instagram Lives. We couldn't do Periscope. We definitely couldn't be doing this. I mean,
well, not yeah. I mean, it's just five years ago we couldn't do this. Not live on Facebook. Yeah.
Yeah. 360 cameras are coming out, and that's going to be norm soon. What's going to be? Matt, let's take a prediction here. What do you think that this is? What's going to be the norm in real estate with VR? What do you think showings are going to radically change? Like the agents don't have to go out with the clients. Like you have a company that goes shoots instead of like a tours now. They go shoot AV. And then they just sell you files that you can just upload to your clients?
Yes and no. I mean, I can see it being used to like drastically reduce the number of homes that people go see in person, but it will drastically increase the number of homes that people view online, which is not, it is what it is. I mean, but the good news is for agents is the homeowners or the home buyers are going to do that all on their own time. That's just going to be, they're going to be walking through there like it's the holodeck on the Star Trek Enterprise, just getting a sense of what it's like to be in that house. But then I feel like human beings are human beings. We're probably always going to want to get out of the house and confirm that real place looks and feels like we think it does.
Oh, yeah, but think about the selling point to the sellers this is going to be for a listing agent. You're going to be able to say, well, Matt, Julie, you're three obese little wood-denting babies, you little bastards. I stepped on a hypodermic needle. Here's your insulin back. Think about this, Matt and Julie. If and when you list with us, we're going to dramatically reduce the number of people tromping through your home because we've involved the latest technology where people can take a fully 360 view of your home without ever having to be here if they're just looky-loos. Now, does that add some extra value? Hell yeah, that adds some extra value. I think that's going to be really cool. What are you giggling at?
There's a lot of comments flying back and forth. So Andrew Shear correctly says preview the trip before you go when it comes to travel. That's absolutely true. So he also says it may actually increase the ROI for buyer's agents, which that's also absolutely true because you're essentially shifting some of the work that buyer's agents have had to do themselves onto the consumer alone, which is what happens in a lot of industries. It's shifting it back to the consumer. Jason Bates says you still need to be able to smell the home. That is 100% true, as anyone who has ever been in a place with cats can attest to that.
Easy, fuzzball. No, by the way, smelling home, dude. Midori just brought 2 pieces of like piping hot pizza in here, and I am starving.
How
It's
dare
like
she?
waterboarding my nose.
You
I
just
just
tell
can't
her
get
she's a bad person.
I know. The cruelty this woman just exudes onto me on a daily basis. I mean, it's a
Oh
rough work
man.
environment.
Yeah. Well, so if you guys enjoy thinking about some of this stuff, there's a really good resource. So there's a guy named Scott Galway. He's a professor at NYU or something like that up in New York City. It's one of the colleges there, but he's also the founder of L2. So if you just go to YouTube and type in L2 and Scott Galway, you'll find it. But he does like a weekly series called Winners and Losers, where he talks about all the people. Most of the time, it's in the digital space. So he has an interesting perspective, and I'll give you just a sneak peek because you'll get a kick out of this, Greg. He
Okay.
believes that Amazon will leapfrog all the other three big players, Google, Apple, and Facebook, and Amazon will be the first trillion-dollar company.
Why?
Because they are uniquely positioned to capture about 80 or 90% of our actual buying habits of the average person.
Like I told you, I just bought $500 worth of them
Every
yesterday.
physical thing that we eat or drink, we can just about get shipped. They're doing the stores now where you can just walk in and take what you need. So if you do need something that you forgot to order, so yeah, it's between that and just the advantage, the structural advantages they have, it makes sense. Go watch the video. But anyway, the weekly series is really good. So if you enjoy keeping up on stuff like this and you enjoy hearing the perspective of like who's doing what are some of the moves that Facebook and Google and all those guys are making to kind of like compete with each other, it's really, really interesting stuff. And he has some very cool perspectives on it. So go watch that.
Well, Matt, we were talking. I've been reading about this a lot lately. We talked about this last show a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about the fact that Facebook Lives are now going to start be streamed onto Netflix, Hulu, Amazon Prime, smart TVs. They're gonna either buy or create their own news station, and then be streaming this content out because it's original. That's why I say, we've always been a huge advocate of do your Facebook Lives now and do lots of them. People are scared of them. I was talking with a gal this week on the McDaniel challenge, and I had to just finally just tell her, I'm like, Maggie, just fucking do it. And she's like, okay. Dude, she did it. She has like 500 views on her first video. And she's ecstatic. Has like 6 or 7 shares. She's over the moon because it's free exposure for stuff. So yeah, it's interesting to see where this stuff is going. But,
yeah. All right, well, let's shift gears a little bit. I want to talk a little bit about stuff that I'm learning in Joe Rico's course. It's called The Truth About Sales. And so I talked about it a little bit earlier in the sense that the reason that I'm doing this as part of my overall strategic plan for the first 90 days of this year was to get better at the psychology of selling and understanding why people buy and why they don't. So I want to take Greg through this exercise that Joel assigned to us.
This is going to be a shit show.
It's going to be good. So it's how to determine your client's core values, and it's 3 questions. It's what's important about whatever it is, what would having that mean, what would having it do for you, and then ultimately what would that mean for you. So I'm going to take Greg through this as if he was like Greg, you're a buyer client, so you want to move out of your condo. You're thinking about moving out of your condo, or you're buying another condo. So anyway,
okay.
So let's talk about let's just talk about your current situation. I'm trying to get a feel on why you would rather be in a condo with an HOA versus looking for a house where you just own it. Because I'm all about home ownership, right? Mm-hmm. So Greg, tell me what's important about having a condo to you.
And by the way, guys, we went over this pre-air, and I really had to think. I mean, these are some amazingly in-depth questions he's going to take me through. So write them down. You use this prehistoric device. It's called a pen. You put it to paper, and it makes markings.
Of course, I have mine handy. Go ahead.
Of course.
All right. So what's important about your condo to you?
It's I don't feel owned by the property. In my previous life, I owned a pretty good sized property, and I was out there every weekend raking, cutting the lawn, trimming the trees, working on my pool, working on the sports court.
Hopefully, you just mean the environment. I mean, that's the best case scenario. Oh my God.
Georgia turned around. She's like, "Oh my God, that was horrible." I meant to say raking with a rake, not a hoe. But so, anyways.
All right, so you're out there, yeah. Okay, so
so
you're,
I
so
don't
you're
have to worry
raking, you're
about,
doing a lot of yard work and all
and
this stuff.
I can lock my condo and be gone. Just deadbolt, alarm, gone. I don't have to worry about the maintenance. I don't have to worry about the water. I don't have to worry about something taking place. Water under the house, cracked foundation, rodents, maintenance of the landscaping. The roof starts leaking. I can control everything inside those walls. That is my environment. I can either have it as pigsty or pristine condition. That is my control. I cannot control Mother Earth and the weather systems, because we just had huge rains here in California last week, and there was down trees, there was floodings, there was everything. Dude, I'm sitting high and tight and dry in my condo. If I flood, we're all fucked. So
That is true. Says the guy on the fourth floor above the pool. All right, so what I hear you saying, this is just, and correct me if I'm wrong, but what I gather from that is that it gives you a freedom and it
yeah.
takes a mental burden off of you that you used to have. So you know what this feels like to have that mental burden, you know what it feels like to not have it, and now you don't have it. So so what does not having that mental burden, what does having that sense of freedom, what does that actually do for you?
It gives me the ability to not feel guilty when I go sit my ass on the couch on a Saturday, drink a beer and take a nap. I'm not gonna be like, ah, shit, I gotta go out and do this. Ah, crap, I should probably be fixing this. It gives me the ability to live life on my terms, not on the terms of the property or the weather or anything else. I don't mind paying, and yeah, that's going to shock a lot of you, like $650 for an HOA payment every month in Omaha, Nebraska. That would be a house payment, a quite nice house, probably a 4 or 5 bedroom.
Oh, stop it.
But I mean, I live in a resort though. I mean, I have hot, dry and wet saunas, 3 pools, spas, tennis courts, a little putt green, full workout facility. I mean, walking areas, a pond. I mean, I have everything I could ever need. So I'm okay, but I never use it because I'm always working. It sucks. I look at the spa, I can look down like, oh, look, there's people. Oh, humanoids. Ooh, that's actually Matt's comment. Like, oh, there's humans in the spa. I can't go down there. I gotta wait till when it's deserted. But it really is something that I really enjoy, though. I like having the freedom. I like having the ability just to lock and go, and I'm done. It is important to me. And it's I like the other thing I really like about being in my condo is that, and I thought about this the other day. It's really weird. I like the feeling of being around a lot of people, but never seeing them.
Wow. All right, that did not come out in us going through this before, which is really interesting because you've kind of answered some of the third question, which I'll ask you anyway. But you've kind of answered some of that already just because you were prepped. Like you got into some of the deeper stuff before I even had a chance to ask the deep question. But that did not come out. So this is very similar to why I go to Starbucks. I have to be like, I work from home, so I need to be around other people, but I still want to work. I still need to get stuff done. So it's not like I go out there to hang out and chat. But yeah, you want to feel like you're a part of a community without having to necessarily engage.
Yeah, I mean, all my neighbors are Persian and they barely speak English and they're old. Like I nearly killed my neighbor one time. Did I ever tell you that story about the first time I moved into my condo? I don't think we did, but I'm going to tell it to you now. It is very awkward, and it's going to burn things into people's minds that they should never see.
Okay.
So my condo was being renovated for a month and a half because I had to gut it from head to toe. I mean, everything had to go.
Okay.
And so the neighbors got used to of my house being empty. And so my first night, dude, I have nothing in my house. My brother-in-law came over and a couple of friends helped me put up the TV and get it wired and get that working. And I have one chunk of my couch, and that's it. I didn't have a bed. I didn't have anything. So I was tired and sweaty. I showered up for the first time in my shower. Loved it. 7-foot high freaking, nozzle up there. Epic. Sit down on the couch with a beer, and I'm like, holy shit, that was a long day. I see this movement over to my right. And I'm like, what do you do when you see something in your peripheral, your vision? You whip your head around, and you want to see what it is. Matt, it was my 2 old Persian neighbors, butt naked, standing in the window, looking at me, and I'm looking at them going, oh,
ooh,
why? So if that wasn't awkward enough, then I didn't know the protocol of the elevator, and I burst through there's the elevator door and then another door, burst through that door, and I caught the lady right in the head and knocked her over. He was about ready to go get his gun and shoot me.
Wow.
But we're friends now. They don't want to murder me anymore. Thank God. But I mean, I like the feeling, like they actually waved to me like, I'm going to kill you someday, sir. But I like knowing that they're around. Like there's a girl that's about our age that lives on my floor. Nicole, nice girl. Dude, she's in corrections. I think she could kick my ass.
Really?
Like armed guard kind of corrections. But he was like, oh, dude, I remember you, Nicole, right? She's like, yeah, you're Greg. And it was just like that. Like, it's like your ship's passing in the night, but when you run into them and you see them enough, you're like, hey, what's going on? It's like one of those casual conversations you don't have to carry on very long, but it's still nice to have that personal interaction. That's actually one of the big reasons why I like it. And everyone, gets on my case for it, but there's a method to my madness.
No, I'm the same way. Now, this is what I wanted to get into because it came up when we were talking through these questions before. So I'll give everyone the third question. The third question is ultimately, what would that mean for you? And in this context, I would ask Greg something like, well, ultimately, what does that freedom, what does that lack of mental burden, what does that really mean for you? Or if you're able to do something concrete with the time that you have free, right? If you're able to relax, what does that ultimately mean for you?
I can be rested. I can do work on side projects. If I ever get a hobby, I can work on the hobby. Which I've really been trying to figure out a hobby and I just can't. But it'll come to me. It is also time to devote, like we were doing before. We were talking about the fact that it gives us both time to just noodle over, how we're going to, diabolically take over the world of real estate coaching and free all you real estate agents from the slavery of paying way too fucking much for real estate coaching, and give you back your lives and have the ability to learn from multiple people for a relatively almost nothing cost, so that you can grow your lives without being chained to a desk. Which I gotta tell you something, dude, this fucking really pissed me off. I'm not gonna say any names of anything, but there was an individual in my office, nice guy, dude. I've worked with this guy forever. He's working with a top coaching organization, read between the lines, and you get 2 calls a month for 30 minutes each, so an hour for $600. So each 30 minutes is $300 of value, right? This individual came into my office and said, hey, Greg, could you be my accountability partner? And I'm like, you're paying a coach $600 a month. He should be your accountability partner. Quote, he doesn't want to do it and doesn't have the time. And you're paying him $600 a month. That's the level of stuff that we're having to deal with in the industry right now when it comes to coaching. It's apathetic on the coach side. And it's the clients, you guys, the agents, have no other choice. That's the only game in town, because the coaches could figure it out that if they push you long enough and hard enough for a high enough price, you'll pay it because you believe that that's the way to go. But the information is free these days, guys, and there's a lot of thought leaders that are out there. So Matt and I are coming together, and I'm going long tangent here, but coming back to Matt and I, that's why I spend my time thinking, training, planning, watching, listening, spending time in the future of what it's going to be. So that's what it takes. That's what it gives back to me. It gives me back my time and to put time into my future.
Yeah. And that's what's interesting is, so in 3 questions, I took you from why do you live in a condo to life goals. Yeah. Right. And that's the power of those 3 questions. In fact, one of the gals that was on the training with us, she spoke up and she said, look, I asked one of my clients, like my new buyer clients, she started crying when I asked her the 3rd question.
Really?
Like, that's how powerful that is, just going through that progression. By the time the 3rd question rolled around, she asked, well, ultimately, what does having that mean to you? Bam, like, cue the waterworks. So what's interesting is that, so you and I are very similar, right? We both have the same like living situation, so that we can put 100% of our focus into business. And it exposed a core value that you and I both have, which is progress and building, right? Mm-hmm. We hate maintaining. People that really take pride in home ownership, there's a different personality type, and I don't know quite how to articulate it, but there is a definite thing that you and I have, Greg, where if we're not making tangible, measurable, visible progress, building, bigger, we get like depressed. Like, it is bad.
It's
but there's other people that take great pride in maintaining.
Mm-hmm. Right? Maintaining the status quo. Yeah.
Yes, maintaining whatever that is. I don't know if it's a status quo, if it's a conservation thing, if it's a traditionalist thing. I don't know how to peg it in terms of personality type, but yeah, we are not that. And so it's interesting that these 3 questions led us down that path where it exposed a core value for both of us, which is building. And if somebody was trying to sell us something and they came in and tried to say, like, oh man, you got to get a house. Like, you get out there and you mow the lawn, you get done, you like look at it, and it's like everything, it's right back to where it was. It's an inch long and it's lush and it's green. And me and Greg would sit there and go, Why? Like it would have
That's not an upside.
like it would have, there was literally no emotional impact that statement would have on us, because we're like, how does that help me take over the world of real estate or coaching or podcasting? How does that support me in my goals? Like if somebody came in and tried to sell us something on any type of pitch that was maintenance based, you would lose us immediately.
Oh, I'm done, completely done. I mean, that's why I hired Phil over at Talon. He's calling 7 hours a day for me, man. He and I are actively working together because he's now going to help me grow. He's going to put appointments on my desk. At 5 o'clock, I'm going to a lady's house for a CMA, and then Terry and John are going to another CMA on Saturday morning for like a $3 million house. He set those things up. So I'm time hacking. I'm growing, right? I'm giving the ability that we can go out and do our thing more. I hired Gene Velpe, to take all the content that we're doing and make me more visible on the social media more than I'm already am, but on different platforms and in different arenas and everything else. So I can grow, not just, and Matt and I want to grow this podcast, guys. We want to be in front of 1 million people a week or 10 million people a week. I mean, we want to be in front of every human being that is either going into real estate, is in real estate, or is, in real estate and wants to grow a team or wants some advice or wants to get coaching. We want to be in front of everybody because I know that we can bring value, and the people we're going to surround ourselves are going to bring value to epic levels and proportions, because our industry is sick and we need to get it healthy again. And that is something that we are avids. We're actively moving towards. And when we sat down and wrote our core values out about the podcast, our new products, this new coaching thing, all this stuff, it all came back to service and giving back. And that's where we come from. So that's one of the things that really kind of moves us, right? I mean, you agree, right?
Yeah, well, of course. I mean, and there's a reason why the tagline of the show is ideas, insight, and inspiration to help you turn your real estate career into a life of freedom, not a life of success, not a life of achievement, not a life of a certain level of income, not any of those other things. It's freedom, because freedom is like, that's Greg, that's one of you and I's just on a personal level. Each of us have that core value, because freedom is what gives you the choice to decide how everything else in your life manifests, right? So if you want the wife and kids and you want the 3-bed, 2-car garage with the picket fence, that freedom is what gives you the choice to say, I want that, and I'm going to go after that. If you want to live in a condo downtown and you want to sell condos downtown, great, you can do that too. Patrick Lilly is a great example of that. That's his crowd. He's found his market. That's his niche, right? So freedom in the sense of what we want to help people build through the show is that freedom of choice, right? The freedom of self-determination to decide what's best for you, and then use real estate as the vehicle to get that. That's really where our hearts are.
Yeah, and you guys obviously know that. You guys keep watching us and hanging out with us, and that's all the folks that reach out. Matt, I haven't told you this. I've gotten so many wonderful, wonderful messages. I probably 15 to 20 in the last 3 or 4 days. People just going, hey, dude, bummer that certain thing took place in your life, but dude, you and Matt, the show, your prospect, everyone's been super inspirational. Love what you guys do, never stop, and that's been the consistent basis, because you guys know that we're not here trying to gouge you. We have one product that we're selling, and we have one other thing we're going to be coming up with, guys. It were a couple other things, but we're not shoving it down your throat, because we want you to have the freedom. If your freedom is learning for free, awesome, we've achieved our goal. Yep. If you want to step it up to the next level and buy a product or a service or something, or for a couple of bucks and go to the next level, awesome, that's your freedom version. But that's what we're going for. So guys, identify what you're working for. What's your ultimate goal, and then put everything towards it. Spend some time thinking about it. Yep. Maybe it is time to end that toxic relationship that is sucking the life blood out of you. Maybe it is time to put a ring on it, because she's the greatest thing on planet Earth and she's your right hand and best friend. Maybe it is time to move to that different brokerage where they have better training and a better atmosphere. Maybe it is time to make the move from one town to a larger town where you can expand your footprint. Maybe it is time to join a team. Maybe it is time to get off a team. But think about it. If you're not completely happy doing it, stop doing it, or start doing it if you're not doing it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Kathleen says, get more listings, which is great. I would encourage you to ask, what's important about more listings to you? What would having more listings do for you? And ultimately, what would that mean for you? And that's a great way to find out the big why. Must read about what you were just talking about, Matt. Motivation Manifesto by Brendon Burchard. Absolutely. I'm not a huge fan of Burchard for internet marketing reasons, but sure, go read that. Anything that helps people develop their big why, absolutely.
I couldn't agree more. Yeah, I'm actually going to take a look at this book right now. I'll read anything. I'm a book
I know
whore.
you will. You are a book whore. All right. So two things, guys. Number one, go check out the website because you've got Greg's favorite scripts there for absolutely free. We've got the program that he mentioned, which is all of $97 or whatever the case is. And Kathleen says financial freedom. That's a much better answer.
Yeah.
And then keep going with that. What do you do with financial freedom? So anyway, back to the website. So high-tech, high-touch real estate farming. It is 8.5 hours or so of video training that I did with Greg, where I squeezed out everything, all the goodness of what he's done to geo farm and demographic farm, everything that's worked from cold, warm to hot outbound prospecting. It was insane. It was essentially like I took a handful of grapes and threw it against the wall at high rates of speed and then collected the remains and got it right into a in video format. That's all I got for today, Greg. But anyway, that's my smashing fruit analogy for today for the video training course. Anyway, so go check those things out, and then remember to subscribe, either YouTube. Definitely want, guys, our goal is to hit, 20,000 subscribers on YouTube.
Yeah.
Brian Casella's at 24,000.
Let's step our game up.
In that general area.
Let's step our game up. Let's do 25,000 by the end of the year. That's our goal.
All right, guys. Yes, 25,000 YouTube subscribers by the end of 2017. So please help us with that new mission that Greg has just installed. And get yourself and everybody else in your office to subscribe to us on YouTube to get the latest episodes on video. If you want to get them on audio, hit up iTunes or Stitcher and get them there. Greg, how do people connect with you?
Man, send me a handwritten letter. It's the fastest way to connect with me.
Actually, I would enjoy that. If anyone send me a handwritten letter, I will actually read it. Greg will go, oh my God, I can't read this, and give it to somebody else to read.
It's in cursive.
That's
Fuck.
Right. Yeah,
no,
Greg would prefer a message on Facebook Messenger or a video
Facebook Messenger. Absolutely, guys. So all joking aside, best way to get a hold of me is to follow me on Facebook. Facebook message me, which David just did. And David, thank you, man. Hey guys, you guys rock, great stuff. He and I are gonna connect. But thank you, David. Boom knuckles to you. That's the best way. Follow me on Facebook. I'm going live as much as possible within reasons, probably 1 to 2 times a day. Depends on how bad I want to get on camera. And then, reach out to me, Facebook Messenger, and we can chat, answer questions for you. The reason why I do it is because I can do a 15-second video, 1-minute audio, or type something to you. But you're never going to get me doing this to you. It's going to be either audio or video. That's going to be your 2 options back. But it's the fastest way to get an answer to a problem. So follow me, guys. Follow. That's the way to do it. Yeah. And share it with a friend, guys.
Helen Miller says, best quote for me, old people proof your home. And with that, we'll leave you guys. And
padded walls, soft landing places. Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Lots of like just stockpiles of Werther's original candies in the basement.
Oh, absolutely. We're gonna have like hip, like braces in case they break their hip, just stored in the closet so that when the paramedics get there, they're already bandaged up.
Yeah, that's right. Like stand-up toilets. Bathtubs that have the cutout that you can just walk in, and then the chairs that you can sit in. Sounds great.
I've wanted to try that. I would actually sit in a bathtub if it was like that. I mean, I would totally do that. I can't fit in other bathtubs.
So secretly, both me and Greg are 70-year-olds trapped in 30-year-old bodies.
Yeah. Oh, I got the nose rubbed twice in one show. This is a great day.
All right, guys. Thank you so much. Sorry for the rough takeoff, but we're going to land this one smoothly. Thank you so much. Enjoy the weekend. We'll see you on Monday.
Were you talking? Oh, shit. Did we screw that up again? Damn it. Okay. Seriously, guys. We love you. We're out of here. We're back on Monday. Bye, guys.
Later, guys.